From high atop the battlements of Castle Curmudgeon, where if you're the sort of man who enjoys crushing your enemy, seeing him driven before you, and hearing the lamentations of his women, come pay a visit today. We've got a bedroll and a tankard of mead with your name on them, and possibly a serving wench if you play your cards right. Just use the promo code #Lamentations for a special 10% discount, and one of our reservation wenches we'll get you fixed right up. Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. America and all ships at sea. Welcome to the Blast Radius. Here is your decline of Western civilization news roundup for this, the third week of the 10th month of the fourth year of the third decade of the 21st century. Dateline Brussels, Monday, 16 October. Thousands of soccer fans were kept inside Belgium's national stadium for about 2.5 hours, and an international fixture between Belgium and visiting Sweden was suspended at halftime after an incident shortly before kickoff in which 2 Sweden fans were fatally shot by an unknown assailant less than 3 miles from the stadium. Asked for a description of the gunman, local police said, quote, "The suspect is possibly male, possibly female, possibly something else. Who are we to judge? Medium height, medium weight, medium complexion, unknown religion, indeterminate country of origin, possibly from an immigration background, but we won't say anything else that might cause harmful stereotypes to be perpetuated. Just let us know if you see this guy because he is extremely dangerous." End quote. Reached for comment, FIFA president. Come on, you think I'm actually going to look up the name of the president of FIFA? Said, quote, "We here at FIFA are deeply shocked that our great game of soccer would ever be associated with senseless bloodshed and wanton violence because that has totally never happened before. Like, ever." End quote. Dateline Stockholm, Tuesday, 17 October. Everyone's favorite little cuddly doom troll of the apocalypse, Greta Thunberg, took a well-deserved break from getting fake arrested at dumb climate cult protests this week to get herself into a bit of hot water by tweeting out, Xing out, and then quickly deleting her enthusiastic support of and solidarity with the Hamas terrorist monster savage animals who slaughtered innocent civilians by the hundreds a couple of weekends ago. The original tweet read thusly, quote, "Today, we strike in solidarity with Palestine and Gaza. The world needs to speak up and call for an immediate ceasefire, justice, and freedom for Palestinians and all civilians affected," end quote. And then, of course, you've got the obligatory wall of hashtags, your Free Palestine, your I Stand With Palestine, your Stand With Gaza, and so on. And this was accompanied by a video of Greta and her cute little angry doom troll eco-warrior friends holding up placards and shaking their little fists and looking very disapproving, as they often do. But it was another item in the background that caught the attention of some particularly astute viewers, namely a little stuffed octopus that was displayed just to Greta's left. And look, none of us here was born yesterday. If you're making a video attacking Israel and you're using octopus imagery, you're leaning into the anti-Semitic trope imagery just about as non-subtly as it can be leaned into, really, which, of course, is why Greta's people immediately deleted the tweet and made her issue a statement saying, quote, "Anti-Semitism? Me? How dare you?" End quote. Dateline Brussels, again. Wednesday, 18 October. The Belgian and Swedish prime ministers on Wednesday called for better border controls and more coordinated powers in the European Union to expel illegal aliens after the aforementioned attack that left 2 Swedish tourists dead, killed by an unknown assailant of indeterminate national origin, aged between 15 and 85, height between 1 and 3 meters, religion unknown, possibly just some ordinary Belgian who snapped and went on a shooting spree. You never know. Reached for comment, the Belgian and Swedish prime ministers said through a joint interpreter, meaning he is an expert at interpreting joints, quote, "Look, we both know that mass migration brings nothing but joy and happiness and cultural enrichment, and we would never make any intimation to the contrary because that would be racist. All we're saying is maybe just let us throw out some of the actual terrorists once in a while, maybe, or better yet, don't make us take the terrorists in the first place, because look, maybe this is just us, but we feel like we should be able to have a Belgium versus Sweden soccer match two of the most polite nations of people that exist on this planet, without an orgy of goddamn bloodshed breaking out. If we wanted that, we would just schedule a match against England, end quote. Dateline Sydney, Thursday, 19 October. Maxim Australia is out with this year's 100 hottest women list, and coming in at number 92, making the list for a second consecutive year, is some bloke named Daniel Laidley, a big, gigantic, hulking dude who walks around in ladies' clothes, claiming to be a woman. And when I say big, gigantic, hulking dude, I'm not overstating matters here. I myself am 6'2". I weigh in the mid 180s, and this dude could squash me like a freaking bug. Because of course he could. The dude was a professional Aussie rules football player before switching to his new career as a coach of professional Aussie rules football. A coach who wears a wig and a dress and a big fake set of tits and demands that the world pretend he's a woman. A coach who, according to the editorial board of Maxim Australia, is a more attractive woman than all but 91 other Australian women. Ladies and gentlemen, this reporter knows, I should like to think, a thing or two about Australia. And one of those things I know is that Australia is not a nation of people that suffers from a lack of pretty women. Yet here we are with Maxim, a publication whose whole reason for being is for men to celebrate the splendidness of the female form, declaring that in a country with 12.84 million women in it, 12.8399 million of those women are less attractive than this big hulking dude. And I'm really not overstating this, ladies and gentlemen. If this dude walked up to me in a dark alley, I would hand over my wallet and say, "Sir, I have a family. Please just let me live." And then with my luck, he would beat me to death for misgendering him. Who knows? Dateline London, Friday, 20 October. And speaking of misgendering, the Labour Party says when they take power in next year's elections, as is widely expected to happen, they are going to put forward a bill that makes it a criminal offense to address a person using pronouns that are not their preferred pronouns. But hold on, because it actually gets quite a bit more complicated. The wording of the proposed statute refers to, quote, speech motivated by hatred of a person's gender identity. And do the people who write this stuff really not consider the implications of the policies they seek to advance, or do they know it all too well and they just don't care? So if I'm reading the proposed statute correctly, it's going to be a criminal offense to address someone with the wrong pronouns, but only if you were doing it out of hatred? Not generalized hatred, mind you, but a specific hatred of that specific person's gender identity. So clearly we're in the realm of thought crime here, where we have a hypothetical utterance that is either a crime or not a crime according to the thoughts in the head of the person who is doing the uttering. So best of luck with that, guys. Let us know how that works out for you. Also, brief side note on a tangentially related topic, the London Metropolitan Police announced on that same day, Friday, 20 October, that people chanting for violent jihad in the various hooray for Hamas rallies that are being held around that city, they will not be investigated for hate speech or for fomenting terrorism by the stated rationale that the word jihad, well, it can have any number of different nonviolent meanings. So for those London residents who are keeping score at home, calling someone the wrong pronoun, that is criminal hate speech and will land you in prison. But chanting that you want to wage jihad and wipe Israel off the map, that is protected speech. Please do make a note of it, especially you, Lawrence Fox. We don't want to have to come back and dig through your wife's underwear drawer again. We were just in there last week. There was nothing very interesting. So consider yourself warned. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, is your Decline of Western Civilization News Roundup for the third week of October in the year 2023. And with that, I send it back to my distinguished colleague, America's favorite cryptozoological phenomenon, my friend and yours, the one and only Mr. Caucasian Sasquatch.